I believe everybody can sing. I do. Your body knows what to do. It's our brain that gets in the way, and we have to get that out of the way, right?
Mm,
Because we have to rely on the natural instincts of our bodies.
yeah,
It's really I simplify it because we make it so complicated,
yeah,
and it's really not that complicated. It's just a practice of knowing how to
yeah.
consecutively do things.
Hi, Ohana. Welcome to the Musician Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Alise Koa, where we talk about the myth of getting signed to air quote, make it. This is not true and outdated information. That's why I'm bringing on so many different independent musicians that are, in their definition, air quote, making it, to prove to you that there's a plethora of ways for everyday musicians like you and me to make money. Now, I know there are so many different things we need to know as independent musicians, from how to write great copy and how to market and songwriting and producing and how to build a home studio and so on. Most of the time, we don't even know what we need to know. It's hard to juggle it all. So, I put together a free members area that you can sign up to right now, where I share my favorite podcasts, books, and online courses on all those topics with you so you can save yourself money and time. I've done it all for you. As Tony Robbins likes to say, growth is the only limit to your happiness. And we don't want that. All you have to do is click the link below or go to alisekoa.com/free. Now, let's get started. Welcome to the Musician Secrets podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest that I'm super excited to finally introduce to you in this new season, season 3. And we're going to be talking about how to fall in love with your own voice. And I have an absolute amazing person. I'm going to just tell you who it is because I can't wait for her to start talking. But welcome, Lauren Haber.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today. I mean, you're awesome. This is going to be amazing. And like you, I just want to give information and help people and just, have them feel like they're inspired and empowered and feeling great on the inside. So happy to be here today.
Yeah, yeah. Raise the roof. Woo! Yeah, this is really good energy. I love your if people are just listening to the podcast, I love your smile. I love just the, your energy, and it's so addicting. Like if you smile, I need to smile, it's so cool. So again, thank you so much for being on here. I just feel really honored. So just introduce yourself. Obviously, I gave away your name, but where are you from? How did you get started in music, and then the transformation into who you are now? It's like I want the whole story. Like, give it. I mean,
Wow.
you can
Okay.
focus on the parts that because obviously we all have a long backstory. But I always think it's interesting how people got into music in the first place, and then how they kind of snowballed into like who they are now.
Mm, awesome. Okay. Well, nice to meet everyone. My name is Lauren Haber. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm originally from New York. I was born and raised there for 30 plus years. Don't want to give my age away too much to people. um, but I have been singing for over 25 years. I started when I was super young. I live in California now, by the way. I made a switch going all the way out to California just for a
Wow.
different life, different styles.
Different
Really,
on the
really
other
fun.
side of like you couldn't get more
3,000
opposite,
miles.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, very different energy out here, very different vibe, but
Yeah, for sure.
it speaks to my heart, and I love that I made this move because I really grew as a person when I, moved to a different place.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been singing forever. I started singing when I was 5 years old.
Mhm.
And
Dang.
well, I mean, as a kid, you're uninhibited as a child, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of just doing whatever
Ooh,
you want, and I just love singing as a kid. I used to take my hairbrush, just like
yeah.
most people, and sing to the mirror or whatever. And then as I got older, I just loved singing more and more. And through my classrooms and through sounds that I heard, I would see
Mhm.
choirs and I would see, I'd hear those sounds and I just wanted to get involved. So my parents signed me up and then
Mhm.
I just kind of went from there. And I was pretty naive, I would say, all throughout high school. And it wasn't until I got to college that I was like, oh, maybe I could make a career out of this,
Yeah.
because I would do in the East Coast, we have something called all state, all Eastern. These are like county-wide things for kids in school. And
Mhm.
I would do these tests and get like 100% and get pulled and go to do sing with other singers. It was,
Mhm.
but again, super naive. And then when I got to college, I found myself auditioning for college as a singer. And I was like, oh, this is fun. I don't know what I'm doing. And they were like, oh, possible operatic career. And I thought, oh, and I never thought of myself as an opera singer. I just
Uh-huh.
love singing and music and song.
Yeah.
So, as I started going, my voice developed into opera. So I'm definitely an opera singer, full fledged. Have sung a lot over the world in different places. And I sing what I call the meat and potatoes of opera. So
Yeah.
it's like Verdi, Puccini. It's the heavier stuff.
Uh-huh.
But what's really great about being an opera singer is that you can teach any genre. You
Mhm.
can sing pop, you can sing musical theater, jazz, you
Oh.
can sing. And I'm not saying that it's my forte to sing in
Uh-huh.
those, but what I do understand is technique. And if you have proper technique, you can sing whatever you want. And
Mhm.
that's why I was so excited to do this podcast with you
Mhm.
because I thought I want people to know that yes, there's a specific sound that people love and things like that, but my goal is longevity and health of the vocal cords.
Mhm.
And in the process, you are learning so much about yourself, like who you are as a person, your confidence, your soul, everything just comes out when you sing. And it's just one of those fascinating things. So that's kind of how my journey has gone. As I have become more solid as a singer, I've become more solid as a person. And they really do correlate hand in hand. And it is so much fun to have it as a metaphor for life. As I've grown my confidence in singing, I've grown my confidence in my personal life, in my working life, in my relationship communication life. It really does. And this is true for anybody. Whatever you're the strongest in is really how you should take those feelings and put that in your other life. This is what we all learn.
Yeah.
Because I definitely was someone who was like, I'm a stage and then I'm personal.
Uh-huh.
Stage life is different than personal. And
Uh-huh.
actually, there comes a point where they meld,
Oh.
and you are always working on how do I say this? What can I do? What kind of person do I want to be? Why did that offend me? All these things. You're always working on all that stuff, but yet you're still staying in what I call, and I use my hands a lot, sorry.
Yeah.
You're still
Me too.
staying in what I
Me
call.
too. I, my friends make fun of me all the time because like you can't talk without your hands. I'm like, well, just ignore it.
This is how we express, and we do it with the
Yeah.
voice, and I'll get into that
Yeah.
too. But as we become that person, we just have that power. What the and I hope this is what we want is we want to feel our confidence and our power on stage when I'm singing. I feel that power, right? And it's not a cocky power. That's a different one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a I want to give to you, and I know what I'm doing, and I want you to come into my world and feel my soul so that you can like you can engage with your soul too, right? This is what we kind of do as musicians and as singers, whether we kind of are aiming for that or not, it can affect people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like where I came from and where I'm going. And there's always struggle along the way, and I want to just say that it's normal. The
Yeah.
struggle is normal, and it's difficult, and it stinks.
Oh yeah.
But it's what shapes you and gives you the passion and the fire and who you are. And the perspective is so important as you're going through all of that. And that's what I wanted to make sure that I gave to people as they grow in their voice and they grow in who they are, a place to feel good no matter what, even if we're working. Because I've had many experiences where I did not feel good from teachers and I did not feel good from
Mm-hmm.
people I was around who had their beliefs of what I should and should not be doing and all these things.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to stay with that person and say, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to, feel your emotions
Oh
because that's going
yeah.
to fuel your fire, man. Let me
Mhm.
tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I've been, and where I'm trying to go for me and for everybody else.
Well, we haven't even been talking for 10 minutes and you've dropped so many nuggets. Like, I'm just taking notes and I'm just like, I can't even write that fast. I'm like, oh, this is good. I like, hopefully everyone that's listening is taking notes right now because This is really before we got into this conversation, we had a little chat
Mhm.
and we talked about like how important beliefs are, and you just brought it
Mm.
up, how people project their beliefs on us. I'm just gonna be very open and very transparent. This is a very vulnerable story that I usually don't share, but
Mm.
I'll share it here and I'll share it with you because you're amazing. And
Thank you.
um but just so everyone, I because I feel like this is everyone has a very similar story, that I people have been listening and following, they know that I studied popular music performance in England, and I majored in guitar, so I'm very insecure about my vocals and my singing. And at at the end of every semester we had to perform in front of our teachers. So I'm I'd rather sing and perform in front of hundreds of people, just normal people, than in front of five
Amen.
of my teachers. I've never been so dang nervous in my entire freaking life. And oh my gosh. Anyways, what a music teacher said, or the professor, he was like, basically just stick to your guitar playing, don't, um, your vocals basically aren't that great, and I should just stick to guitar. So that's exactly, and I think because you said everything is so emotional, right? Especially singing. Um, how what's like a way that you can be like, okay, even though if people tell you you're maybe not that great, doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean it's true. Like, what do you tell? Because I feel like everyone kind of feels like that, or the majority of people. Um,
Oh yeah, we all get
how
those.
what would you say to someone like that that just kind of burned, is like, singing is not for me? Like, I'm just like, I can write songs and I'm amazing at writing songs, but I'm really insecure and scared to sing them.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we all have stories where people have said things and it hurts
Yeah.
because we give our teachers, in my opinion, godliness because
Mhm.
we're students. We're trying to learn, we're trying to grow. We love it. We came into this because of the love, right? And then you meet a teacher and they not I don't think they mean to, and it is because we are sensitive people sometimes, but they pick us apart.
Yeah.
They don't realize that we're people too. Some of them just think they have jobs to do and that's what they do. And other people are like, I'm ready to take on your whole person and teach you as a whole person. And so I've had plenty of, of teachers tell my parents, too, like, oh, maybe she shouldn't be a singer. By the time, when I was 30, I was doing a competition and they said, I think you're a little too old for this. I think you need to get out now. And people say all these things and it does hurt because here
Yeah.
we are like expressing our vulnerability, our souls, I said to you this before, but our voice is, in my opinion, and I say that a lot because
Yeah.
I've had many different conversations with instrumentalists
Oh
and
yeah. Everyone has a different opinion about everything.
different opinion. But what I know to be true is this is the only instrument you cannot touch.
Mhm.
Every other instrument that's outside of your body, you can touch, manipulate, pluck, string,
Yeah.
bow. You can do any of that, blow air through. But for
Mhm.
us, it's inside the body. So I know this is cliche, but we are our instrument. So
Mhm.
that encompasses mind, body, soul. And
Mhm.
it encompasses muscles that we are supposed to engage and muscles that we are supposed to not engage, and
Yeah.
what are they and how do you get to them, right?
Ooh.
And then it encompasses our thought process, what we feel about ourselves, our confidence. I mean,
Yes.
if I'm not confident when I'm on stage, it's going to read.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also create confidence through practice,
Uh,
through making sure I know my stuff. I memorize. I make sure I work with coaches. I work with people. But I also, at the end of the day, and this has to be, it's your voice, it's your body, and people can give you opinions all they want. If it doesn't resonate with you and if it doesn't feel good, get rid of it. Leave it be. Push it to the side because
yes.
you're going to have I've worked with some amazing conductors and coaches and teachers, and they really know their stuff for them. But
Mhm.
it doesn't mean because I'm the other half. You got to think about it this way: you have a teacher and you have a student.
Mhm.
The teacher can give you all the information, the student has to apply it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's not like if we're not getting something, it's my accountability for myself to make sure that I understand it and ask questions along the way,
Mm.
because people are afraid. I know some of my students, they're afraid to ask me questions in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then they start to ask questions and it gets better,
Yeah.
because you have to learn it for yourself, right?
Mhm.
So what I really believe is that people have limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
and they put those beliefs on you,
Mhm.
not even consciously. They're
Yeah.
not doing it
Yeah.
because they don't believe in you. They're doing it because they didn't believe in themselves. And this is
Yeah.
where they got, or they're not happy with their career. Or if they are happy with their career, either they struggled. But
Yeah.
again, I try to keep my burdens that I have felt to
Yeah.
me and
Uh,
not put that on my students. And a lot of times, unfortunately, I see a lot of teachers that do put that on their students.
yeah.
I've had teachers say to me, "You cannot go audition because my name is written across your forehead and you're not ready and you represent me." And I'm thinking, okay, but okay. And then there was a point in my life I was like people pleaser all the time. Okay, oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
And we shrink down because like
Yeah.
we give them godliness.
Yeah.
And then I saw some of my friends and they were like, they would have the same teacher and they would still do auditions. I'd be like, ooh, they're going against the teacher's rules. And guess what? They have this amazing career because they did what they wanted to do. So I thought, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But again, we go to search advice outside ourselves, which is
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
But we have to listen to that voice inside that says, you can do this. This person just isn't the right person for you.
Yeah.
You just gotta go to the next person and then look inside to find it.
Uh,
So I think for all the people who get hurt, it's like take it as a always be like, is that something that'll help me or is that something that'll hinder me?
Yeah.
Is that something that makes me feel good or is that something that makes me feel bad?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that question. If it makes you feel good, run with it. If it
Yeah.
makes you feel bad, either you look inside and you say, why does that make me feel bad? Or you say, I don't really want to deal with that. I want to
Yeah.
go with what makes me feel good. It's all a mindset and a perspective.
Yes.
Easier said than done though,
Yes.
but that's how we eventually get there.
That's awesome advice. Holy cow. There's before we get into the nitty-gritty and
Yeah, yeah.
like the techniques and how to like really like apply stuff, which I'm really excited. I had a little search because there's one place where people are the most honest, and it's not with your spouse,
Mm.
not with your family, not with your friends, not even to yourself, but to Mr. Google.
Mr. Google.
Mr. Google, if you really want to know something, you ask Google because people are very honest. So I wanted to know what people thought about, singing and like, so I'm just gonna, these are not my personal questions. These are literally just plucking them out of Google that I thought were interesting.
Great.
Um, and we can make like a lightning round out of it, just short answers, just whatever comes, because these can be very deep questions that we can
Sure.
spend an hour on answering, but whatever, just quick, like whatever pops into your mind. So
Okay.
the first one would be, um, and you kind of talked about that a little bit, but what qualities make a good singer?
Oh, okay. So I know everyone's looking for the perfect answer, but there is no perfect answer. I it's because the voice is so unique. And so in my world, whatever voice you have, whatever voice God gave you or what you believe, energy source, whatever your word is
Yeah.
or your belief is, that's the voice you have, okay? And so I tend to meet you where you are and
Hmm.
take you from there because everybody's at a different level, right?
Yeah.
So if your voice is more pop, go pop. That's
Yeah.
fine. But the main thing is how clear is it? What's your intention that you're saying? And
Mhm.
how do you feel while doing it? And that's what comes across the most. So
Mhm.
I'll give you the techniques, I'll give you the inner workings about character and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, how do we express what we want to say?
Uh-huh.
And for me that's through vowel. So we'll get to that.
Oh,
But
yeah. Yeah.
but the idea is like you just have to bring your love and your passion to it and then we will discover the technique that'll make your sometimes when we have emotion without control, it's chaotic. And the
Mm,
control has to be what we do in our body, but we just don't know. So
mhm,
that's what I think a singer needs to be really successful. And then, you got to know your music. You got to be like, know how to collaborate, all that kind of stuff. But if you just want to be a good singer,
yeah.
accept your voice for what it is, love it for what it is, because you can't, if you compare yourself to other people, trust me, I've done it a million times, you're dead.
Yes. Yeah.
But I
Same
mean,
here.
seriously, you just,
Same here.
there's no growth. It's
Yeah.
all just stoppage and bad thinking and all this stuff. So love your voice where it is, and then, you know, do the techniques and the things you need so that your voice shines and is clear and is, you get longevity. Those are the things I would say for me.
Mhm, mhm. That's that's a good like this was like a really open question, so I'm like
Mm,
I'm interested how you would like narrow it down and like so that's
yeah.
really so can you make yourself have a good singing voice? That was actually a question. I'm like this is one for Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, whatever voice is the voice you have.
Yeah.
And I believe everybody can sing. I do. Your body knows what to do. It's our brain that gets in the way, and we have to get that out of the way, right?
Mm,
Because we have to rely on the natural instincts of our bodies.
yeah.
It's really, I simplify it because we make it so complicated,
Yeah.
and it's really not that complicated. It's just a practice of knowing how to
Yeah.
consecutively do things.
Yeah.
But also, say the question one more time because I had another thought and I wanted to
Can you
say.
make yourself have a good singing voice?
Oh, thank you. What I
Yeah.
wanted to say was, I know people are like, "Oh, I can't sing. I'm tone deaf. I'm this," and I don't believe any of that jargon.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Because for me, it's about how do you set up the proper pressure underneath the vocal cords to make you sing well. I
yeah,
have worked with people who are tone deaf in their, quote, tone deaf,
yeah.
even people who have vocal problems, how to get them back on track.
Right.
Because, oh yeah, because you only get one set, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can't exchange it.
Yeah,
So I think, you know, uh, you just have to set up the correct pressure, the correct knowing what to do, and
yeah.
then you'll be able to sing with your voice. I promise you, it is amazing.
Wow.
Anybody can sing, and I know everyone's like that's such malarkey, but it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It is the truth.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get into like the nitty gritty.
The
So one that
tactics,
was
yeah,
very
yeah.
similar, which I'm just gonna mention because you just answered this, but I thought was interesting, is like, can a terrible singer become good? You know, and I'm like, oh,
Heck yeah.
yeah.
And I didn't
So
want to say the other word, but yes, they can. Yes, they can. And again, good compared to what? It's good for you, not for other people. And this is we spend so much time, and me included. That's why I know this so well.
yeah,
We spend so much time on what other people think about our voice or this or that, but
yeah.
it's good for me.
Yes. Yes.
Mm,
I
yeah, I'm getting
love it.
fired.
Yeah. I'm fire, Lauren.
That's
Ah,
right.
wow. Yeah.
Passion, man.
Because these are because like I can come up with questions and try to see like, okay, what are people asking? But these are like real people like Googling this. And I'm just like,
Mm,
I like this is, you're like the best person to ask. So I'm like,
thank
yes,
you.
I want to just get all that BS out of the way, like we all have these beliefs and these are
We all have it.
right? And these are like beliefs that people have. So I just want to, that's why I'm doing kind of this lightning round so people can know BS, BS, BS. Okay, true. Okay, how can I
That's
work on
right.
that? So that's why we're going to do the techniques after. So I just want to get rid of
Great.
all those false things that we have stuck in there. So,
Mhm. I
and
call them limiting beliefs based on
yeah.
other people's opinions.
Oh, yes.
I
Yes.
was like,
Limiting
really?
beliefs. Exactly.
Yep.
How do I know if I am a good singer? That's also a question someone has.
Man, I know. Well, again, that's a comparative question. Think about it. You're comparing to who? So,
Yeah.
do you love it? Does it fill your heart? Do you enjoy it no matter what? Then you're a good singer. I mean, that's my criteria. It
Yeah.
has nothing. I mean, if you want to get into the what quote a good singer is, are you on pitch? Okay.
Mhm.
Do you run out of air? Do you have enough air? Okay,
Mhm.
we can talk about all those technical
Yeah.
things, but at the end of the day, how do you feel?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel? Everyone to me is a good singer.
Yeah.
Whatever, like I said, some voices they pinch and we have to open it.
Yeah.
Some voices are too open and we have to, too much space or whatever, and we have to, go in a different direction.
Yeah, totally.
It but again, I always say this because I've had to learn this for myself, and that's why I'm saying it so much.
Yeah.
It has to be what you feel. Do I feel like I'm a good singer? Now I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did
Yeah.
I didn't think that when I was younger?
Yeah.
Not at all. It's like I'm horrible, and I wasn't, but I didn't believe in myself. So
Yeah.
I think that's a part that, is part of being a good singer. Do you believe in yourself enough to
Yeah.
be, singing?
Yeah. Here's another one that I thought was interesting because I get this a lot and I'm kind of
Mm,
trying to fight that belief. So we'll see. Is singing a talent or a skill?
both. Why do we have to limit it? It's
Yeah,
both. See,
exactly.
this is what I think of as like when someone asks a question like that, my immediate question is, who gave you that belief? Because we
Exactly.
learn it from somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So it's both. It is a talent to be a good singer, but it's also a very skillful thing. I mean, people don't understand this, but it's like being an athlete. We're using our muscles.
Yeah.
We're sweating like crazy because we're
Oh
using our muscles. I mean, you hear about what I've heard about is Wagnerian singers who lose like, I mean, there's so much sweat, right? And they lose like, 5 to 10 pounds a night.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heavy costumes, everything. But also we're actively engaging certain muscles.
Yeah.
And that is part of the athleticism that you need. Like I have a little rebounder back there.
Yeah. 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 I completely.
And I use it because it makes my back strong. You need your back muscles. It makes my body strong. It's very you need that physical strength as well as the technical skills or the subset to be able to know how to sing. But it's also, are you talented? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, if you believe you are, then you are. Like it's those
Yeah.
types of
Totally.
things.
I think that is like I like I think that people think it's just talent, and I think that's what's something that kind of bugs me because yes, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't use it, if you don't exercise those muscles,
Mm.
then that and I had to learn that at university because everyone was talented, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, how do I compare? How do I compete? How do I stand out? Right? And I learned that hard work trumps talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's when I
Mm.
realized that talent alone doesn't get you far. And I think that as musicians, we kind of get this I don't know, this mysterious thing that all you need is talent and you're set for life, right? And if you don't have it, you're screwed, right? So I just
Yeah,
when people are
couldn't.
like, "Oh, you're just so talented," Taylor Swift, she's just so talented, and Sharon, he's just so talented. Billie Eilish, of course, because she's Billie Eilish. I'm like, and then Ed Sheeran, he pulled up like literally got on his phone, pulled up a voice memo from like years or like, and he showed them. He's like, no, I had to like work hard on this, and he literally showed a voice memo, and it was like squeaky, and and people were like, ooh, okay. And he's like,
Good for him.
that's where I started off. This was me 10 years ago, and I celebrated that because I'm like, yes, good for you because we all got to start somewhere. Obviously, talent, I'm not saying it has absolutely no talent, but I love what you said that it's a combination of both because many people think it's just talent and it ticks me off when I hear it. I
I
get
know. And
so
I
passionate.
yeah, thank you for saying that because yeah, there's a talent will take you so far.
Yeah,
And I've had this experience for myself and I've noticed it without, saying names because I don't like to shame
no,
or
no
whatever because people
bashing,
have their own.
you
But
know.
I've seen in the public life of singers,
Yeah,
people who are talented and then end up having vocal problems because they don't have the proper skills,
yeah,
or people who are talented at young ages and then you never hear about them anymore because they just can't sing the way they used to,
yes,
or people who started out really young who could sing so amazing and then they lost it when they got older. It's
yeah,
just because they haven't, like, the voice is resilient. it
mhm,
it, it is so like, there's I mean, I don't want to get gross, but we could talk about phlegm and what the property of phlegm is, and I don't want to get there, but The voice is, it protects itself. It's just like every other muscle in the body.
Yeah.
It has a crisis mode protector and it has a loving mode protector. I don't know how to say that.
Wow.
But it has everything, like when your muscles tense, there's a reason why they tense. And then when you relax them, finally they're sore. But
Uh-huh.
then you're like, okay, I feel relaxed. Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? Um, and so the talent is great to have it,
Yeah.
but then what do you do with it to keep it? And longevity for me is the name of the game.
Yeah.
And for me, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want it to be a bad thing, but there's a lot of celebratory nature for airy sounds
Yeah.
and sounds with like raspiness and stuff, which is, I totally understand. I use that stuff as a tool. I
Uh-huh.
do not sing that way all the time
Uh-huh.
because that type of singing for me is what's going to make the voice not be able to stay strong and healthy.
Mm.
Because, and we'll talk about it, but when you
Yeah.
introduce air to the vocal cords,
Yeah.
they don't work properly.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. Talent is great, but
Mhm.
now what skills do you have to make it last?
Mhm. Yes. Amen. Let's end the lightning
Oh,
round
good.
there. Yeah. Because I mean, dang, like you did a really good job. I'm like, ooh, these are really, because these are like real questions people have that are Googling. And I'm like, why not use them in here? Because I can try to come up with all the great questions. And these are like really good, legit questions. This would have been
Mm.
like what I would have asked 5 years from now or before, like, yeah, 5 years from now, because I had no idea. And now I'm like, okay, BS, that's not true. Okay, yeah. Okay, now I
That's
know how to
right.
figure
It's
it
like
out.
little by little,
Yeah,
it's almost like your intuitive guide system and your brain. Like once, like here's what I know about the brain, and I've done a lot of brain work.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
when we go down a negative road and we take it deep,
Mhm,
sometimes we just get like super depressed or super like hard on ourselves and been there, done that, still do it at times, right?
mhm.
But the clarity that comes from that is amazing
Yeah.
because you have to allow yourself to feel those feelings and be okay with it instead of
Mm,
fight them all the time because that creates more like resistance, right?
yeah,
But
exactly.
once you allow yourself to feel it, your brain and your body will be like, that's not true.
Yeah.
It's like it has this thing. It's like, oh, I'm awful. I shouldn't be doing this. And then something in your head goes, oh no, no. What are you thinking like that for? And you're like, yeah, why am I thinking like that? So in
First
essence, I feel a little cuckoo, but but that's kind of the process that kind of people go through from what I understand.
Yeah, no, no, totally. Like, I think that's why kind of the brain kind of fascinates me, like, because we kind of like talked about that before, but it's just amazing how our brain is just triggered and wired, and when we kind of like understand just the basic form, we can call it out and be like, wait a minute, I'm worked up about this more than I should be, or
Hmm.
whatever. So,
I take it as it means something important to you. That's when you get that way, just perspective wise, it means something really important to you. And so for me, I've learned to love those things and be like, okay, this is a really bad day. I'm super depressed about myself.
yeah,
I know I'll get through this. I know it'll get better. I don't like the way I feel right now, but I
yeah,
know there's a reason for it and I will break through it. And you just have to kind of soothe and talk to yourself
yeah,
because we can get it from other people, which is good too. But
yeah.
really, at the end of the day, how you treat yourself is how kind of other people will treat you too. So you
Mm,
want to,
yeah,
show
sure.
yourself that love and you'll get more love.
100%. Because also, because like if someone treats you like crap, you'll be like, I know better. You better treat me better or I will leave. So yeah, totally 100% agree with that. Because you'd be like, you accept the love you think you deserve. So
Absolutely. And then when someone comes to you and isn't loving, because you've given yourself a lot of practice of loving yourself where you are, you look at them, you go, God, they're just hurting. And you say, oh, excuse me, can I go to the bathroom? I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And then don't come back. Go somewhere else.
oh, there you go. That's how you do it. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Please.
You have like three amazing steps, and I want to get them in here, like really tactical stuff that's gonna help you. And the first thing you kind of talk about is like the alignment, like physically and
Mhm.
spiritually, because you say like you look at the entire person, which I absolutely love. I've never heard a vocal coach say that before, not even the ones
Mm.
I've been working with, and I've don't really like working with them. So I love what you
I
said.
wonder why.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, now I know why I should have met you like way, like two
Yeah.
years ago. But yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit. Like looking at the entire person, not just like dividing it into I'm this and I'm that, and they're separate, and
Hmm. So because the voice, and I mentioned this before, but and I'll show you, right? Because the voice is so inside our throat. It's how we communicate, it's how we express when we cry. I mean, it is so a part of us as human beings,
Mhm,
right? Whether
mhm.
we talk really lightly because we don't want to offend people and we're not connected to our bodies, or we like are really confident in who we are and we're connected to our bodies. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I give a lot of examples like that because I've done it all.
yeah,
I've been the
yeah.
quiet one. It's like, oh, please
Yeah.
like me,
I'm
and
loud.
cut
Like
everything off.
people are like my friends will hear me from like forever away. They're like, "Oh, okay, Elise is coming." They're like everyone's like, "You need to like when somebody's sleeping," and I forget sometimes, and tone it down. I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I forget how loud I am sometimes because for me it's like normal." So I totally get that.
Yeah, but you're connected to who you are. I mean, listen, that's the main thing is like when you can stand in who you are and be proud of that, that is more powerful than anything, right?
I've never
Um,
realized that connection. It just now that you said that.
yeah, I've been in because I study the voice so much.
Oh yeah.
I've been in seminars or conferences or whatever, and it doesn't have to be about singing, but
Yeah.
a lot of self-education growth things, and you can watch people when they first start talking, they're super shy, and the
Yeah.
voice gets very quiet and light and not very audible sometimes.
Yeah.
And if they cry, a lot of times this happens, or if they really start to feel like emotionally like set, they drop into their body energetically, and then the voice becomes deeper, and for me it's like that's who they are, that's their real voice. But it's the permission that we give ourselves to
Uh-huh.
be that, and that's okay.
Wow.
So it's really fascinating. I love this. I'm a geek about it. I'll talk about it all day long,
Yes,
right?
please.
But
This is the
as
platform we
far
geek
as
out as much.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is where you can geek out as much as you want.
awesome. So, but so for the whole use, and I think I've said this, but I'll say it again.
Yeah,
So we are our instrument.
yeah.
We carry our instrument with us all day long.
Mhm,
When we're upset, we tighten our throat muscles.
mhm.
We breathe shorter breaths.
Yeah,
We don't realize that our whole being is being affected by our daily lives. You have a fight with your partner, you get in a car accident, or you win the lotto, that helps you too,
yeah,
like it's all good,
yeah,
and it's positive and negative stuff,
yeah,
right? It
yeah,
all affects our energy in our body. And so for me, I teach the whole person.
yeah.
I realize I just made a heart.
Oh,
I've never
for
realized that before.
people that are just listening, Lauren just made a little heart as she was saying she
Yeah,
keeps
the whole
the person
person. That's
without
so
even
cute.
noticing.
Anyway, so but it's mind, body, and soul. It
Yeah,
really is. It's your in order to sing, and I'm sharing things that people have shared with me and I've been through, right? You
yeah.
have to heal your heart and heal your mind to be able to express your voice clearly. You have to know who you are, and be okay with being vulnerable, which is super scary for people, especially like I've sung in front of 3,000 people. I've spoken in front of 5,000. I've done a lot of those things. And the only way to get through it is when you're first starting is to really be okay with, like, I know this is scary, but this is an opportunity for us to communicate in a great level. And if it goes great, it does. And if it doesn't go great, so be it. I can't predict what's going to happen. Right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so being present in the moment is something that's hard too. But I try to teach that too, because if you're having a hard day, and you're like upset, I need you to cry. I
Mhm.
want you to cry. I don't want you to suppress your feelings because you're going to suppress your voice. And so, in a way, it's therapeutic. There's no doubt about it. It's
Yeah,
spiritual, it's therapeutic, it's very much in touch with your heart and your emotions and what you're feeling, and also energy is something that we can't see. If
mhm.
you have a gift and you can see it, good for you. But the majority of the people in this world maybe can't see it, right? But we can feel it. We just don't know that we're feeling it.
Mhm.
And so if somebody comes in the room and is like in a bad energetic, we take it on. We
Mm.
don't realize it because I feel like we're all energy beings and we just, play off
Yeah,
energies. When you're in a room and you're like we are, like we're having a great conversation, it feels
yeah,
amazing and it flows, right? But
yeah.
when you're in a room with people and it's like, this is
Like,
very
it's, like,
uncomfortable.
really awkward and, like,
That's
what
right.
do I say? What
Where do
do
we
I
go from here? Okay.
yeah.
Exactly. So I think for me, when I say about the whole being, I want your joy, your pain, your stuff that you're going through, to an extent, of course. You don't want to. I'm not a trained therapist,
Yeah,
but I do know. I do know that it affects you, so I can give you some tips and tricks on how to think about things in a different way or something
yeah.
that's similar and stuff like that. So I don't think you can address something in the body without dealing with all of that.
Mm,
It's the way doctors do it when there's a problem and they give you like things to feel better, or kids who go through cancer, they bring in animals and things like that. It's all affecting in the body. So
mhm.
that's why I love to teach the whole person, because that's how you build your confidence and
Uh,
that's how you connect to your soul. I give you a safe space
yeah,
to allow yourself to be you, and we just work on it from there, and then we sing along the way,
yeah.
and you get practical tools that make you feel even more confident in
Uh-huh.
your abilities.
Wow. Mic drop. Boom.
Oh, yay.
Wow. Yeah, it is like we said before, it is very emotional, right? And if
Mhm.
that's very interesting, like let it out. Cause like when we feel like when we need to cry, we feel like we're not allowed to, like I should be strong and I need to hold it in and I just keep it together, right? Just like we don't we say things like that and we don't really think what it actually really means is like, don't be a baby or, just you gotta be tough or, just stuff and this is you're probably like the first one that says to like let it out like
Oh my god, I let it out all the time. And this is when I say limiting beliefs, it's like, who gave you those limiting beliefs that makes you feel like you can't express sadness or express, you know, even joy in crying. There's things in that too. It's
yeah.
all releasing all this energy from your body. And then I had a session, well, I had a year with a teacher where every time I breathe, I think it's the right word. I was gonna say breathe, but that's not the right word. When I was breathing deep, let's just say that,
Yeah.
um, I would cry
Yeah.
because I was locked somewhere where I needed the energy was stuck,
Uh-huh.
and I had to let that out. And then I sang like freedom
Mhm.
because I let it out. So that's what I say with the whole person. I mean, you know, I there's a balance, of course,
Yeah,
but if we have to spend the time talking about the things that are holding you back, and
yeah,
then we sing,
yeah.
you will see the freedom and the pleasure that comes from that.
Wow. Yeah, I love that, alone this concept right now is just blowing my mind that you're looking at the entire person because I feel like from own experiences, like they just focus on your vocals, right? They're like, okay, what do you want to work on or whatnot? Like I've never even had a coach like that was where I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to use my strength. I want to use my voice or my vocals, but I don't even know what that is. And I always hope that
Mm.
a vocal coach would tell me what it is and how I can use it. And it never happened because they just looked at, okay, what song do you want to do or whatnot, and they just jumped right in for like the techniques. And I think it takes way more time to look at the entire person. I think it's easier just to give the techniques. This is how you do it. This is your homework, and then I'll see you next week. Than the way you're doing it, I think, um, is takes way more effort. I think, but has in the long run way more success because it's all about confidence. What you said, right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it's a dialogue.
Yeah.
We are creating you together. And I say that because I want to give what I was not given. I
Yeah.
wasn't given that. I was given what you had, was the,
Mm.
okay, these are the 10 things you should do, go practice. And it's like, okay, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
go practice.
Exactly.
And then I practice wrong, come back, and then it's wrong. And we have to, it's like all
Redo
this stuff.
it.
And
Yeah.
so it's and then I feel defeated and I feel bad. But the thing is that it's not easy to be the person who kind of take some of that on. So the idea is I'm not trying to take on your world and make your world better.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to give you practical tools that I know that work for me that can help you
Mhm.
feel different about what you're feeling. And
Yeah.
then we can apply it to singing
Mhm.
because we can use the same things we do with warm up. Warm up is not just
Mhm.
warm your vocal cords up.
Mhm.
Warm up is your mindset, your body, your belief in yourself. And then we take all of that into the singing. There's
Yeah.
a deeper layer that
Yeah.
happens. But for the most part, I understand why people and sometimes I do too. It depends on the person too. It's not just because I'm deep,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
everybody is deep. They want the practical tools and we can
Yeah.
do that.
Mhm.
But it is a disservice to you when you don't allow yourself to feel the things you're going through during the process.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's up for you to share or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If exactly, if you're not comfortable to like share that, like you're not a therapist, right? But I mean, it's good that you're looking at the entire person, and I think that alone just blew my mind. Where I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, 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 you can. I mean, if you want to. I mean, it's not a like you must do this if you work with me. Like I said, I meet you where you're at, and
Yeah,
we go from there because
yeah,
everybody's at different levels, different emotional levels, different spiritual levels. All of those things come into play.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm already blown away, which is
Oh, good.
you know, let's get into like the second one
Okay, let's get
where
into
you
some
talk
ideas.
about like breath, right? So like you said, that's the key to like great singing in life, right? Holy
Yes.
cow,
So breath is okay. And this is because I've had a lot of different trainings, but
yeah,
breath is so important. The main thing is that we have to know we have air already. We forget. We always think we try to take air in, but
yeah.
we already have air in our bodies. Otherwise, we wouldn't be, alive. And so, just saying,
It's
right?
hard, yeah.
Um, but when people, and again, this is the study of people because I love studying. I
Mm,
love studying. I'm a student of life. I think you have to be in a way, right?
mhm.
Um, when people are angry, they tend to breathe deeper and give a lot more strength, right? When
Yes.
people are calm, they tend to breathe slower, right? This makes sense.
Yeah,
When people are scared, they breathe shorter and faster,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So, again, this is why it's the whole person. What are you feeling in that moment? And that allows the breath. If you're anxious, you're going to have a shorter breath. If you're nervous about singing or about, are these people going to like me? These,
Yeah,
like we said with with the juries,
yeah.
for school and stuff,
Yeah.
it's so much harder to sing for your peers than it is to sing for people you don't know
Yeah.
because in our minds we feel our peers are judging us. Oh,
Mhm.
how'd she do this? How'd she do that? Da, da, da. And they probably are. And I've
Yeah.
judged other people too, but
Mhm.
in a good positive way of
Mhm.
that was really amazing. That could be better.
Mhm.
That's the difference. You want to judge in a constructive way.
Right. Yeah, totally. No, oh, that
Yeah.
was crap. Yeah, well, that's not constructive. Like, tell me what, you know.
Like, that was awful. Well, that's really lovely. Thank you. Now give me the ideas that you think could make it better. And if you don't have
Exactly.
any, zip it.
Cutting it. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. And I tell, listen, everything I tell you, I tell to myself. If there's
Yeah,
something like I'm watching something, I'm like, this is not good. And I go, Lauren, not your, that's not your problem. Love them for who they are,
yeah.
whatever it is. We all go through it, right?
Mhm.
So breath is the key to singing. It
Mhm.
is. If you take the technique, and this is what someone told me, technique is what you use when you take the wrong breath. Because, and it's really mind blowing to me because your technique is so important. If we take the wrong breath, then we have to kind of figure out how to do everything else so the voice is even and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But people always talk about, like, okay, here are my notes. I'm gonna take my notes out, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So people say, oh, you sing with your diaphragm. And I laugh at that because, and I don't mean to be rude, but
Yeah.
your diaphragm doesn't sing. I mean, think about it. Your diaphragm doesn't sing. Like, your diaphragm, its function is to get out of the way so that the lungs can fill up with air. And then what you feel is your diaphragm coming back up.
Yeah.
And this is why singing is so interesting because We can't touch anything that we do. We can touch outside, but we have to sing from the inside out.
Mhm, mhm.
And when what we need to do is discuss what are we feeling instead of what are we thinking. We
Yeah,
always have to go from here into the body because everyone says, "Oh, I
yeah,
think I sound like this," or I
yeah,
hear, I think the sound is that." And for me, it's
yeah.
like, where do you feel it in your body?
Ah,
And the hardest thing that happens is, yes, we hear the sound in our head, but we
yeah,
can't listen to it as we sing.
uh,
We have to focus on something else. And so you have to separate those two, which is a practice all on its own. But when I do that other thing, I will demonstrate what that's like
yeah,
because I've done it all. You have those people who are like really wobbly and a lot of, stuff in the back of their throats and you can hear it, right? And then you have people who are like really nasally and they put it in different areas. So
mhm,
there's a balance that actually happens. So we can't get to any of that until the breath is the freest it can be. And in my world, we allow the breath, we don't take the breath. We
mhm.
allow the breath to come in, we allow the breath to fill our bodies. And then what do we do or not do once we take it, once it's in,
Yeah,
anyway? And so we do like, I do exercises where we can hiss out to feel what muscles are engaged and what muscles are
yeah,
not engaged,
yeah,
right? And then the breath's function is to support the throat.
uh,
That's the breath's function. That's the body's function, is to support the throat.
yeah.
Because I know this is the coolest part. So because
I hope
when you
everything is everyone is writing, I'm writing this down because like my mind is blown right now.
so and just start to notice, like, I know when we do our class with like Dean and stuff, right? He says
Yeah,
you'll start to notice how different people market and do all these things, and you'll be
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
they forgot this, they forgot that. So for me, I start to notice, are there veins that are popping out of the throat?
mm,
Is the sound clear?
yeah,
Uh, do, do they take short phrases? Like, are they breathing every 5 seconds or are they singing longer phrases?
uh-huh,
All of this stuff is part of the breath and the support that we give.
mhm,
So, or that we try to emulate. And then people go for the feeling of it, but actually, you recreate it every single time because it has to be, because when you talk about being in the present moment, you can't live in the past. And the breath you just took is in the past.
in the house.
So the next breath you take is right where you are.
Yeah,
I know. It's super cool and super freeing once you're not worrying about, because I've had teachers say, oh, think about the next phrase. And I try, and it takes you right out of your body. So you can only feel what your body's doing. You can only feel where, okay, I finished the phrase and I feel some tension in my mid area
yeah,
where my breath is, right? And
yeah,
then what do I do with that? And the answer is nothing. You allow the body to do its work and you
yeah,
just get out of the way. But it takes practice to
yeah,
feel what that's like. And then not only to feel that, but to recreate that like it's new every single time. And it becomes second nature, but it's about, where is your focus?
yeah,
I know, it's super cool. It's super cool and super not normal. People like, tuck with your abs or
yeah,
help here or push against this or
yeah,
hold that, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. And trust me, I know it because I've actually, I shouldn't say I don't know. I do know because I've done it all and it
yeah,
hasn't worked and
yeah,
it's hurt and it's this and it's
yeah,
that. And this is what I know works like no other. And I have breath for days. I have a sound that carries in a room, a big room that fills without a microphone. And, it's just this amazing enveloping thing I bring you in my world. It's very
mhm.
cool.
I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just like in awe. I'm just like,
It's just a practice. Like, people think
oh
it's so
my,
hard. The hard part is getting rid of the old way and just, but if you stay here,
yeah,
I really believe this is how I build confidence for other people and for myself. But
yeah,
I build it because I know it's true because I've done it.
yeah. Yeah, because of what I but like the vocal teachers that I had, they were like, breathe into your stomach. And I'm like, what? Exactly. Now I'm just like, if I'm like, no, I know better now. But like, I'm just like, but how do I breathe into my stomach? Like, and even like, why? It just felt weird because like, I'm just like, okay, why? Anyways, but I mean, that makes so
So
much more sense.
Yeah, so when I'll just give you a quick thing, right? So if
Yeah.
you were to practice and everyone could practice, and this is what I want to do on that live day, right?
Yeah.
So when you practice, if you take your hands and you put it right below your sternum,
Mhm.
it's squishy, so
Mhm.
it shouldn't be hard at all.
Mhm.
And you breathe into that area. It's very tight and very small,
Yeah.
right? Very tight and very small.
Yeah.
And that should never, in my world, I call it the squishy spot, and it should say squishy. Because I used to teach a lot of really young kids, but I say it to adults too, right? It's the epigastrium that you're feeling. It's a part of the body, right? And but when you do that, and you so put your hand there again, and
Yeah.
then don't engage this part at all,
Yeah.
you'll get more air. Try it. So if you put your hand back where that was, and you don't engage any of that, and you breathe all around it, you get a way bigger sense of air and feeling, and it fills your chest, your upper and your lower back. That's right.
Oh
Because
my
that's where
god.
your lungs are. Yeah. And then this is what I love about Zoom because I can see it. So I can still, I teach a lot on Zoom right now because of COVID, but it's great. So this is when people say, I know, it's like this.
Yeah.
The body knows what to do. The body is so strong and
Wow.
smart. And so when you introduce resistance, that's what you get. But if you allow, you get so much more. That's a metaphor for life, people.
Yeah, I was just about to say because I don't know if we talked about that before. If we did, you mentioned it in the beginning where you
Mhm.
said it has so much to do with just life in general. Like singing is an overall thing, and not just like, oh, I'm just singing and I'm trying to get better at my vocals. But I love what you said in the beginning. Is what was it? That if you become better as a singer, you become better as a person as well.
That's right.
I love that. I wrote it down as fast
Yeah,
as
you really do. You do. I mean,
mm,
if you don't, I get it, because people are where they are. They grow in their own process, and that's okay. But for me, it's taken me a long time to get here. And I have to just understand that now that I'm here,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, what's the next chapter? This is exciting stuff.
Mm,
Because I could go through all the heartache, but
mm,
what does that do? It just shapes the person that I am today, and it gets me off my track sometimes, right? You
mm,
just want to come back to this is what I know, and it feels the best to me. And
mm.
then I want to feel as much air. This helps people who have asthma problems. I mean, I've worked with people who have asthma. This helps
Ah,
people who have vocal problems, like they're very raspy in their voice because they don't know what muscles to engage and what muscles to leave alone. And then you just, I mean, it really, I think,
wow,
I'm starting with
wow.
singing because singing is what it is, but
Yeah,
I want to just I want to help the world love who they are. I
yeah.
don't know how to do that, so I'll start with what I know, which is
Great.
singing,
Yeah,
and
I
just
mean,
go from there.
everyone has a different tool about doing it. I do it through songwriting, you do it through, vocals. There's so many, like, at the end of the day, we all kind of have like the same goals, but just the way we approach that and the tools
That's
we
right.
use says a lot about ourselves. And also, like, not everyone will relate. Like, not everyone feels like they need to write a song in order to process their emotions to become a better person, right? Not
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, I want to sing, for days so I can like sing myself free from it, to become a better. Like, everyone resonates
Yeah.
different for different reasons, and and that's okay. That's totally fine.
Oh, I mean, what I'm trying to say too is like, yeah, I love to teach opera and I love to sing opera, but
Yeah,
I teach a gentleman who's in his 70s and loves country music, and he's like amazed by all the things that we do, and we practice without the guitar and with the guitar, and
yeah,
we talk about posture and how do you engage when you're in your form,
yeah,
because a lot of that, once you introduce an instrument or something, all of that goes out the window.
yeah.
So it's a big practice
So I've
too.
been told. And
Don't
not
worry, we'll get
that
you. I got you. That's awesome.
way.
So
um,
yeah,
so that
breath is the key.
that I'm getting so much value out of this just for myself, and
I am so glad. I'm so happy. Yeah.
I can't wait to share this with people, and finally, get them to, just change again, like all these, you know, limited beliefs as we call them, right? I'm
Hmm.
already like here, like busted, 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 busted.
Nice. Yes.
I love that. I mean, now I'd be like, oh no, I know better now. Like next time someone's saying like, "Oh, I can't sing." I'm like, "Yes, you can. You can."
Yes, you can. It's your belief whether or not you can.
Yeah,
Whether you have a beautiful voice, that's a God-given thing. Whatever. It's okay. But if you love it and you want to do it because it makes you feel good, do it.
do it.
Like, I mean, what it I always go back to Whoopi Goldberg and Sister Act, right? If
Yeah,
you love it, if you sing it, if you wake, then you are it. It's like,
you are.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
such a
do
good
it because
movie.
you love it.
Mm,
That's right.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Amen to that. Yeah, for sure. Wow. And for the third one, you said it has to do a lot with your vowels, right? So how we
Yes.
express in singing and in normal speech, right? So.
Hmm. So, vowel is clarity. If
Mhm,
you have clarity of vowel, you have clarity of sound.
mhm,
And it's also how we express as human beings, right?
yeah.
When we're scared, we have really tiny little vowels and we go really fast, right? And
Mhm.
when we're really confident, we have longer vowels and we're like, yeah, and we do all these things,
Yeah,
right? And so, again, studying a lot of vocal things.
yeah, yeah.
but when I'm singing something, it's how do I arrange, how do I know what my vowels are? Like, especially singing in English, I have to say it's the hardest language. It's
Wow.
the hardest language to learn in general if you're a foreign speaker, but it's all because there's no rules. In
Yeah.
every other language, because as an opera singer, we learn we learn something called IPA, which is the International Phonetic Alphabet, and it
Mhm.
allows us to sing in many different languages. We
Mm.
have there are
So
we
sad.
go from yeah,
No,
we
I
go
was like,
from
how did you
Italian.
learn all of that? Yeah, yeah, because it's like mostly like Italian, and then it's like in other languages. I'm like, how do they do that? Like, how do
Yeah, so I take Italian vowels. I sing a lot of Italian music, but I take Italian vowels which are very pure. A, E, I, O, U.
That's
They're
the
up,
same in German. We have the exact same vowels. A, E, I.
right, but
Yeah.
and then you have your umlauts.
Mhm.
So every language, thank you, because I sing a lot in German. I know.
Oh, yeah.
So every language, so you learn what every language has. There are similarities, right?
Yeah,
Every language adds its own consonants and extra vowels, and
yeah,
that's what we have to learn. So it looks like hieroglyphics sometimes what we write,
yeah.
but it allows us. So for me, I've sung in 7 different languages: English, French, German, Italian, Czech, Russian, and Chinese. And let me tell you something, I wouldn't have been able to sing any of those languages at all if I had not learned this. And of course, I have coaches. I have
Yeah,
friends who are Russian who help me with my Russian. I had
yeah.
friends who were Chinese who helped me with my Chinese. But I'll
Here,
tell you this.
German, German.
That's right. Thank you. But to sing in Chinese, I had to use 3 languages: French, German, and Italian, because I just to make the sounds and understand what those sounds were. The
Wow.
idea though is that in English, we have our vowels and they don't make sense. Like you
Yeah,
can have the
no.
same thing spelled twice, but it has completely different
Different
sounds.
meaning
I
too.
know. And so
Oh my god.
exactly. And it's very hard, but you get a lot of pop singers and stuff like that in musical theater, right? So if you're saying what's the vowel you're going to use? It's like the word duh. You have to use that one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's not that's in the throat. So there's things you have to isolate, or the word I has 2 vowels, ah and e.
mhm,
And then what do? You
yeah,
sing on, I know, you sing on the first vowel and then you add the second vowel later. But if you're going it's not clear.
yeah.
And that's what we work on. And then from there, the expression comes out because you're clear on your vowels, you're
Mm,
clear on your energy. And then we talk about how to make energy kind of move forward through the vowel. And so all of that connects you to who you are. And once you get that, you own it. And nobody can take that from you. And that's what builds a lot of confidence. Because now nobody can take my vowels or my energy. Nobody can take that when I walk on stage
yeah.
because I've done the prep work.
Uh-huh.
But as I was learning, I gave my power away quite a bit because I didn't understand all this stuff. And now we take our power back and we're like, okay, this is how we own the room. And when you're speaking to people, if I speak like this, you're not going to understand really what I'm saying because it's
Yeah,
not clear in vowels, right? It's kind
yeah,
of all muffled. There's no movement in the mouth, right? But
yeah,
if I tell you these are my vowels, I know what they are, I
mhm,
speak them clearly, I'm
yeah.
very clear to you.
Wow. I mean, that alone just made a huge difference, right? I mean,
Right.
uh, yeah, I mean, it is because like like if some people they talk like really fast and they never open their mouth, and it's like so hard to understand what they're trying to say, and I'm like, I have to like ask 5 times, like, sorry, what? Yeah, yeah, I'm trying. I just said that I was just doing this over here and it didn't work, and I'm just like, sorry, what? Like, it makes so much sense because and then usually their postures like little, the
I
shoulders
was
are
just
down,
about to say.
you know? I mean, that's what Tony Robbins also talks about a lot is like your what energy you
Hmm.
have and the mood you're in, right? Depends on, that's how you're going to carry yourself. So,
Hmm.
I
So
mean,
when someone comes to me and they talk like this and they're very much in it, like you said, posture down and stuff,
yeah,
in my world, I think, okay, somebody told them that they couldn't be loud. Somebody told them that they can't be strong in who they are. And
yeah,
somebody was like, you can't be you. And so my work, because if you're going to talk like this to me, you're going to sing like this.
yeah,
Right. And so
yes,
my work,
yes,
right? My work is to make you feel
yeah,
confident and say, let's talk about it.
yeah,
And it's hard for that person because I really do go deep. But
yeah,
this is why, some people are better for others, and I totally get it. But what I
exactly.
promise you is if you're open to the opportunity, you'll
Mm,
create amazing results.
mm,
Just be open to the opportunity to do something different than you've done your whole life.
yeah.
And if it's scary because it's out of your comfort zone,
Yep.
but if it gives you a result and you can practice that feeling of it's okay to be different than what I know,
Yeah.
then you can kind of own it and kind of use it. And that's how that person who doesn't talk very loud and doesn't stand loud,
Yeah.
I've seen so many transformations where they're like, hi, Miss Lauren, how are you doing today? And I'm like, oh my God, what happened to you? And then it's like, boom, we're off and running because they may not feel that in their regular life. They may not have that. But with me, I want to give them a safe environment because
Yeah.
we get picked apart as singers. We get
Mhm.
torn apart with every little piece. But
Mhm.
I want to give them something that they can feel good at the end of the day, or at least feel like maybe we didn't get to where we wanted to go, but we enjoyed the process. And
Mhm.
that's all you have to do. And that'll build your confidence along the way too.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom used to say, there's no growth in your comfort zone and no comfort in your growth zone. So if you want to grow as a singer,
Mm.
as a person in general, get out of your comfort zone because there's no growth with staying where you are right now. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, amen. Good mom. Good mom for having good phrases. Yes,
That was
absolutely.
like the one that she probably said the most. So that's why it's like stuck in my head all the time. So, yeah, but it makes sense. Like I grew the most as a musician, as a songwriter, when I went to a country where I had no friends, no family, had no idea where I was going, no idea where I was staying at the time. Crazy
Mm,
story. That's a whole new thing on its own. But everything I was doing was new and unfamiliar, and because of that, I was free to like try new things and be like, okay, you know what? I have nothing to lose here. Let's go. Like, and that's when you just kind of become free, and it scares the heck out of you. But once you do it, you're just like on fire because you're like, oh, I can't believe I did this, or I can't finally, I have so much breath and I can sing louder and I'm more confident in myself and I can just do it. And, and then
mhm,
you can own the stage, right? Because you're like,
mhm.
I know how to do this. And, it's like you're a different person, like on stage.
Yeah, I'm working on it, and everybody's working on themselves. I would say I'm in the
Yeah,
self education world. I've been working on myself for many, 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 many years,
yeah,
and I still have moments where I'm afraid. I have fear of judgment from other people. I still deal with it and I will probably deal with it for a long time, but what I
yeah,
can tell you is that every little step you take towards that judgment,
mm,
it's one step closer to releasing that judgment.
yeah,
And you just keep going at it, and at some point you're like, I know this is going to be scary or whatever, but you get used to it. You've built up some muscle about like, I'm just going to do what I've been doing all the time and that's how it'll work. But
yeah,
like even with starting my own business, right? I was like, I have never taken a course in business.
yeah,
I have no idea. Am I really supposed to be doing this? This is
yeah,
weird. And then I was super scared. And then now I'm like, doing those challenges online and actually
Yeah.
putting my face online, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm judging myself harder than
Yeah.
people would probably judge me. And
Totally.
even if they do judge me, it's out of my control.
Yeah.
So you can't live there, right?
Totally.
That's the thing with singing. We have so much fearfulness about what other people are going to think of our voices, and then we just cut off everything that we're doing. We cut off
Mm.
our heart, we cut off our soul, we cut off our practicing, our
Yeah.
hours that we put in behind the scenes that nobody knows about, because we care more about what they think than what we think of ourselves. And
Oh,
that just has to stop. Has
yes.
to stop, you know? And again, I'm sure even the most amazing, people who are so successful, they still have
Mm.
their worries and this and that, and their agents that tell them, this isn't right, or da, 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 da.
Yeah.
You got to follow your heart, your passion.
Mhm.
It's the only way you can do it.
Oh, amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. Wow. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna end it on this high because like this is, oh my gosh. I can't wait to edit this video and like re-listen to all of that and like find new nuggets that I've missed because I've been like mind blown right now. Um,
Yeah.
but thank you
Thank you.
so much for sharing this, for not holding back at all. You just, put it all out there and being so open and
Yeah.
vulnerable. So thank you so much. I want to appreciate you for like everything that you're doing, that you're helping all these amazing, musicians. We're just we're just all hanging out, you're just hanging in there trying to figure out this music thing, and like,
Yeah.
all trying to do our best, and you're doing such an amazing job with like helping people and just being just open and just accepting people for who they are and where they're at. And I could
Absolutely.
just feel that we're in like during, our conversation and now in like the podcast and everything. And you can just feel when someone is just really sincere, and if somebody is just like, oh, I'm just doing my job, and they're not really, their heart isn't in there,
Mhm.
but your heart is at the right place, and you're doing really good stuff. So I want to appreciate you that for that, and thank you. So where can people find you? Where can people like find out more? Please tell me.
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I mean, I was super honored and blessed when you contacted me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I have to do this," because it's a way to get it out there, and this is another way where there's so many people, we just want to feel like we are, it really is a tribe. It's a people who feel the same and want the same for each other, and there's nothing behind it. There's no manipulation. It's just like, let's just help each other be the best that we can be, right? So thank you
Yeah,
for the opportunity for that.
thank you.
So I am building my business. So I am not out there as much as I should be, but I'm working on it. But one thing I can say is we were given a challenge in our course.
Yeah.
So I am going to go live, and I'm going to put that up, and I'll give you once I have it all set up, I'll send it to you,
Yes.
and we'll send it out somehow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
I'll link it all up once you send it all over. So that,
Awesome. But here's the date. I'm going for July 17th, which is a Saturday for me.
yeah.
And it'll be from 10 a.m. and this is California time, so it's
Mhm.
Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm going to do a live event on Zoom, and we're going to go through these actual tactics. We're going to go through alignment, we're going to go through breath, and we're going to go through vowel, and
Mhm.
we're going to do it in real time. And so you'll be able to actually participate, and I'll work specifically with you.
Mhm.
And then, we'll talk about those things after. But I'm building it. And so I have an email and stuff, and I'll give you all that, and then we can, send that out. So I'm really excited that as we start the process, a lot of times people feel like we have to be there already in the
Yeah,
end result, but this is a working, just
yeah,
like singing is a working process, so is this. So
yeah,
that I know I'm doing, and I'm super excited for that. And
yeah.
then we'll see what comes in between. I'm still building my course on Mastermind, and oh, it's gonna be awesome. I'm
Yeah.
just excited.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, so as soon as you got, everything, then I'll link everything up below. So it's been like this episode is coming out in like 2 weeks, so you still got
Perfect.
like, you still got some time. So yes. So once that is all there, everything will be linked up down below. And I'll make sure everyone will be able to find you. I'm just still, my thoughts are still like all over the place. I'm so sorry. Is there
Not at all.
Instagram that you want to share, or Facebook, or any of that? Or
So my Facebook is I don't even know if I know it myself because I'm
I
not
don't know,
on it
to
all
be
the
honest,
time.
I don't know mine because I'm never on there.
That's what I mean. I'm not. See,
Just
here's the
for the
thing.
challenges, I come on. That's it.
Just for the challenges,
Yeah.
and I get that too because Facebook and Instagram. I do have both of those. I think it's LNH Voice is for both of them,
Mhm.
so you can find me that way. But um, it's also like I protect my mind. I protect my sanity.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you go on Facebook and Instagram, if you start to get comparative with other people, you can hurt your own feelings. So I don't tend to go on there except when something's created. So I think I'm gonna have to create a group
Mhm.
and just go from there. So I'll give you that information as soon as I create it,
Yeah,
and then
or like an
yeah,
email list, or I don't know, like whatever feels um good for you, whatever you want to do. Anything, it will be linked up down below.
yes,
Everyone to go and check Lauren out, and because you have an amazing heart and you're just very
yeah.
giving, and you just changed my life within, like, an hour, and probably this is like longer than I intended it to be, but it's just sometimes it just has to be the way it is.
Close,
And
yeah.
within 1.5 hours, you just completely changed and transformed my life. So I can't imagine what you're gonna teach in, like, that life training. So I'm super excited. So if this blew your mind, if this changed your life the way it did with me, then that challenge and that life, is it a challenge, right? It's like 3 days,
No,
or
it's just a live. It's just a let's do a workshop. It's like let's
oh,
just
so it's
go
like
through it and
oh, right, right. Okay, so it's like a 3 or 4 hour.
like a 4 hour because I
Yeah,
figured we'll do breakout rooms, we'll do things
yeah,
like that, we'll answer your questions, we'll work through it like we did here. But
yeah.
I really want people to actually practice and be able to like do it in real time and get an
Mhm.
idea of what that feels like.
Nice. Okay, so like
Yeah.
that workshop is gonna blow your mind. If you love this, then that's gonna be, amazing. So I'll link everything up down below, and yeah, I can't wait to, like, keep in touch, and again,
Yeah.
thank you so much for everything that you're doing. So just keep going. I'm cheering you on. I'm definitely a huge
Aw.
fan. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You rock. This is going to be so exciting. Excuse me. I'm excited for everyone, but it's very exciting to be a part of this and to share and to give back and to just, you know, help people feel good about themselves and enough negativity. There's so
Yeah.
much. Just
Oh
let's
my
feel
God.
good for a change. So
Exactly.
anyway, thank you so much. I'm truly honored and feel so grateful and appreciative of you and what you bring to people. You add so much value to people just by getting it out there. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to the Musician Secrets podcast. I appreciate your time because you could literally be doing a bazillion other things right now, but you're here with me, so thank you. If you want, you can scroll all the way to the bottom and leave a comment on how you're liking the podcast, what you've learned, and things you've even implemented that have helped you out. As a little thank you, I put together a free members area with all my best resources, books, podcasts, and online courses about everything you need to know as an independent musician, from producing to songwriting to marketing to building a home studio, all the good stuff. All you have to do is either click the link below or go to alisekoa.com/free. I'll see you on the other side. Bye!